Hello! My name is Bean. I am starting a new YouTube channel that I want to experiment with and share my passion. Something that I really love to do is play computer games, especially of the simulation management style. As I expand my channel, I'll open it up to different games. But the main games that I play as of right now, the one that we're looking at here, Transport Fever. Love this game, and I'm very excited to see what Transport Fever 2 looks like coming out later this year. Another game that I love to play is City Skylines. It definitely will be on the channel, showcasing a previous city that I have finished and starting a new one. And Planet Coaster is another big one that I like. So that kind of simulation management style game is kind of what I'm going for here. So I want to jump in and just do a very short introduction video. I have been playing on this map, and I'll do a little tour of it here. I've been playing on this map probably about a week and a half now. One thing you'll first notice out of my game, I like to be organized, and I'm kind of a perfectionist, so you might notice all my roads have been redone, at least in this section. Instead of, let me go to somewhere it's not been redone. So like up here, what is that? That needs to be done. So, let me go back over here. So yeah, kind of organized. I'm very excited. I love strategy simulation, and this game really fulfills that. So let me talk a little bit about Transport Fever, and as more and more videos come out, I will talk a little bit more about me, introduce myself, why I decided to do YouTube, and share this hobby with you guys. So first off, I am from Utah, and if you know anything about trains or have any kind of passion for trains, you know that in the month of May, this month, there's something that pretty big happened in Utah. The Transcontinental Railroad 150th year anniversary was earlier this month, up in northern Utah, and in association, in connection with that, I guess you could say, the big boy, the 4014, UP 4014, and the 844 Living Legend came from Cheyenne and made their way over to Ogden. Thank you for showing me that. Oh, wonderful. I've been waiting for those vehicles. We'll play with that in a minute. But it inspired me to do this. So let me go ahead and slow this down here. So let me go into Modesto. Modesto is my main city. Oh, that was probably fast, but you'll notice that the majority of my trains are all steam. As of right now, that is where I want to keep it. It is getting to the point of needing to expand it and actually bring in diesel for some of my routes. But this is not the 4014. Let me actually get up here and pause it. But the 4023. But this is one of 8 big boys, I believe. I believe there's 8. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that is basically what it looks like. I mean, a very good model. I actually went up to Ogden and got to experience that. Has the UP shield on it. Very much what it looked like in real life. So it inspired me to do kind of an all-steam map. And so that's what I've been doing, focusing heavily on trains. I think more than I usually do. So let me actually come in and bring some of the routes here. So a lot of my freight goes in and out of Modesto. Let's see. Yes, I would like that on too. Comes in and out of Modesto. So a lot of the wheat and the livestock all come into Modesto. And then there's a train, this blue and pink one right here, come and bring it over to this farm. So I would assume that most people watching this video have played Transport Fever, are familiar with it. So basically, it's a sandbox simulation of completing route. So like this is a very easy one to understand. So I believe this is, I don't know quite what rock this is, but basically it's a rock, a quarry. And you'd have to take the rock up to the industry that that requires it. So in this case, this construction plant, materials plant requires rock or stone or whatever it is to make a construction material. So you would transport from the quarry up to the construction material plant, and then from there, from the plant over to the city. And you can see that's what this maroon line does. It brings it, drops it off in Waco, and then goes back out, picks up more rock, and yada yada yada, so on and so on. So that's what I've done. I've got oil up here turning into fuel, taking into Modesto. All my farms, all of these farms come in here, drop off the grain, food, and the livestock, take it over and drop it off here. Lancaster is my second biggest city as of right now, and this is basically where all my trains spawn from, is these little two depots, and they go out. So you can see there's quite a few trains that get serviced here. I do have passenger lines, so I have a couple. So you can see I have one that goes basically in the middle of the map here. I can't scroll out any farther, but goes from, I think this is Peoria is what I'm going to say. Goes from Peoria down the middle of the map. I also have one that comes up through kind of this upper middle of the map through McKinley, Hollywood. Let's actually take these off again. So up through McKinley, Hollywood, Sioux Falls, Wichita, and ends over here in Oklahoma City. And then I have a couple locals, because my dad talks about the trains when trains were actually big in America, and he talks about they went everywhere and the platform. So that's what I've done, tried to do over here in Oklahoma City. So this is something that I've been working on the last couple days, is to build this Oklahoma City is kind of the terminus of all of these major lines. So I'm getting ready to connect this yellow line, which is the one that goes from Piera down to Modesto, and it's about to come over here and connect into Oklahoma City and terminate there, and then go back. So you can see kind of there's a bunch of lines: Los Angeles, Sterling Heights. There's another one that's going to go out here to Minneapolis and out and across, some coming down from Savannah. So there's going to be a lot of lines terminating, and that's kind of where this episode, to begin, episode 1, is I would like to connect Montgomery over to Rockford, redo these roads in both places, and go from there. I also might set this little line up here to build Rockford up a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing I'd like to do is you have to kind of understand what you're working with here. So let me get these crucial tabs back over. So I like to play pretty realistic, as though this is a real railroad, planning a line from Montgomery over to Rockford. I've already put the stations in, mostly because I didn't want the city to grow up and then have to come in and destroy the city to build my station later. I always knew that I wanted this line, and now I'm getting ready to connect it. Obviously, we'll need to come and bend this around this little hill here somehow to go over to Oklahoma City. So let's go ahead and build this. So my first thing I always start off with is the train. In my opinion, the train is king, car is second, so no, I do not want the cantery. I believe that's how you say it. I just drag a pretty straight line here, so let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, we're at the point of double tracking. I mean, we're in 1992, so although trains were not a very big thing in '92, it's in this little map it is. So I do not know why you're raising up here. let's actually go ahead and delete this track. Again, pretty realistic. I will delete a ton of track to kind of get what I want here. So let's go ahead and bend it around and then delete that small piece of track. I find this game very relaxing compared to almost every other game that I play. Let's see, so we're gonna have to take out that little bit of rope, no problem. So like I said, I play a variety of other games. This one does not take a whole lot of creative skill comparative to the other games. It's not what I wanted, but so I like that aspect of this game a whole lot more comparative to like Planet Coaster or City Skylines. City Skylines takes a lot of thought and a lot of, I gotta plan this out. This game, throw a bunch of rails down, watch the train, and fulfill it. So let's go ahead and just cut through that. This I do not want yet. And let's go ahead and connect that up. So just like that. So connected Rockford. Let's go ahead and get this double tracking. So like I said, I'm at the point of double tracking. I've got quite a few trains on this Modesto line. The Modesto connector, I think is what I believe I called the line. A couple different trains run in the route, and especially because I'm getting ready to expand it over to Oklahoma City, will probably require even more trains. I talked a little bit about earlier when I got the new vehicles at the beginning of the year that I'm getting ready to go to more of a diesel powered, and I'm thinking Amtrak kind of service, and this line right here that I'm building is going to be the first one that receives a diesel. Again, the main focus that I wanted for this map particularly was to be steam. I grew up loving steam engines. Diesels are just as cool, but the steam engine is pretty big. So let's see. Let's go ahead and see if I can wrap this around this mountain here. But eventually, in order to satisfy demand, you kind of have to give in to the whims of it, so that's fine. Let's see, yeah, that's good. So now, how do we want to do this? Because one thing, so one of the lines that I'm going to do here, so you have one coming from Rockford, which is fine. You have this one coming up here to Minneapolis and going around the mountain this way and going to Palm Bay. And then you have one, I'm trying to decide if I want it to come, I might have, because I have this line coming in, Flint, Palm Bay. What kind of terrain do we have to deal with here? It looks like quite a bit of terrain. So we might have it come, let's see, Eugene, Flint, and then come across, and then work its way down. Alright, let's build outwards a bit. No, okay. Don't know how I'm going to do this yet, but I know this route is not going to stay. So let's get rid of that. Green don't need it. Just gonna go ahead and share all of these roads. Let's start building our train. Kind of curve it around here. Let's zoom in. We get a bit of better understanding what we're doing here. Okay, now I do have to come in here. So if I go back in here, okay, so I have, this is the middle one, this is Los Angeles, and this is Sterling Heights. I have 3 trains coming in here. I could potentially add a 6th one. Let's see what that looks like. Because then each one would have its own. I like that a whole lot better. Okay. So these are going to be the 2 lines that come out of this station. You will notice that I am using both the kind of the high speed and the standard. That's mostly just because I feel like if we're thinking historically here, Oklahoma City would have been a much more planned out, thought out rail yard comparative to, let's say, like even Rockford. So I feel like having it go to the more of a modern concrete tie rail system is realistic, in my opinion. And even if Oklahoma City would have been here for a while, they probably would have been upgrading it because of the amount of rail traffic. Why can't I have that there? Let's go and destroy that. There we go. Okay, so now I've got it connected. And gotta build a crossover here. Actually, I'm going to do that down here. So it's got a crossover. Let's go ahead and build you out. That's fine. Okay. Again, this is your main line. So the way I do this, you can kind of see it here. I've got this set up basically that I can choose. So these little white symbols right here allow you to put that in your route to say, I want this train to go down that track. And that's what I try to do here. So I do know once it gets out to this point, it will be on the main line. I want it to kind of have some good blocking here. I love my signals. One, it keeps the trains moving because it doesn't have to wait a very long time. And I also feel it's pretty realistic. So let's go ahead and get it all done here for what we've built. I like this pretty scenic little spot right here next to the river. And then under there, both sides of it, and then we'll do one right here. And then I always do one on both sides of the station, mostly because it allows the trains to come up to the station and kind of offload and then continue on. So also another thing I need to do in this is extend this double track. And for that I'm just going to drag it all the way till about right here. And this I'm going to destroy because, and the reason for this is I used the road to build it, and the road like went really high, so I don't need that. Maybe I do. Let's see, let's get over here. Let's see if I can destroy it. Let's try that one. like to keep it a little bit lower if I could. I feel like, okay, what I'm gonna do here. Put the road back in, put the train back in. We could actually probably come in. Said I'm all okay with doing all of this. There we go. And then we'll come in with the smooth tool, act like that never happened. Because I think they would have built, in my mind, they would have built the railroad before the road. So they would have cut that piece of the mountain out before putting the road in there, so it makes sense that the road, like the rail is a little lower. Okay, so one thing about here is it does have to go down to a single track because this is where my main freight line comes in, and that bridge is not gonna be like, it's, yeah, like I need to redo this bridge and it's not gonna be fun. What I am gonna do though is redo this to keep speeds up. Get rid of this crossover. Block section here. So I would love to hear any feedback you do have. I think that's one reason I talked about that through the next couple videos. I'll talk about why I chose to do YouTube. One of the main things is I feel watching other people do YouTube, they always talk about the ability to get critiqued on through comments, and honestly that is something I'm really looking forward to. Let's go ahead and just delete all of that, and I'm just going to redo this one. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your comments and hearing your suggestions and saying, this is what worked for me, this is not what a real railroad looks like, you need to try that again. And I'm okay with any of those comments, and I will be excited to hear and read them, and to honestly take them to heart, and to change things of how I'm doing them. So again, if you have any feedback, I would love to hear them. Please drop a comment down. Let's get this line up and going here. We're gonna go all the way. Rockford. Oh, not Rockford Signal. Don't care about Rockford Signal. I want it in Rockford. And then this guy needs to come in. And okay. Now we'll go back across Rockford. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons I decided to do this. It's intimidating to say I'm open to suggestions and please leave your comments. It's a little nerve-wracking, but please, that's one of the reasons I want to do this. So please leave that feedback down there. I'm gonna add another car on this thing. I believe it's these ones. I'm gonna get up to 247 locomotives. Do I have the one that I want? I have that one and that one. I'm looking for a very specific Amtrak one to add in here to replace these engines. Oops, do not want that. Okay. What did I do? I added that. Okay. Replace now. Place. And there we go. So that's Modesto Central. And you can kind of get a glimpse of how I play this. Oh, I was going to redo this road real quick. Let's go. So I'll hurry and finish up this road, and I'll leave that here for episode 1. Let's go in here, get a road, and we're in a cave. Have it go up and around this way. Want it to go raised there. Roads are pretty common to cut through the mountains. Pretty straight lined here. And take it in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this building. I believe I am going to access that, because what is that? That's, so, yeah, so here's some stone. Figure out which one I want to use. Let's go this. Okay, keep it along that topography line there. And go over. Let's go ahead and upgrade this bridge. There we go. So that road is done, so you can kind of see straighter. Okay. Then let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple more roads here. One thing that I'm gonna try to do, so a lot of it is gonna be just Let's Plays and live. Still getting used to the mechanics of how to edit the different videos, and so any kind of feedback on that, on programs that you guys use, programs you recommend, anything to kind of get me going on my feet, would be really helpful. So let's see, this is 62. I feel like this is going to be a little bit bigger of a road. Do not want it to go like that. I'll have it come right there. Just keep along the river. Once it gets here, we'll have it start turning up. And we'll take it into Oklahoma City. Have this road reconnect. Let's see. Yeah, you're a main thoroughfare there. So, I'm gonna go ahead and construction not possible. Try that again then. And okay, like the main road through the town. And at least that one. like building those roads super big, but you know, what are you gonna do? Okay. So that road is put in, and now we just gotta get this one. But I upgrade you now. No, construction not possible. Okay, well let's try this. Let's put this road in. Upgrade. Upgrade. And yeah, that intersection. There we go. That's what I like to see. And then have this thing come up right here. So this is going to be the main road going through the town. Okay, it's perfect. Now just come back in here. I said I'm just going to finish up these roads and I'll call it a day. So stick with me just a little longer here as you watch my perfectionist personality come out here. We'll go ahead and delete. And then it's not an awful... Zigzags needed. Let's see, we'll actually to LA. I know this is not LA, this is Wichita. Come off there. Okay. And upgrade this. It's a pretty big city, actually. And I could go forever on these dang roads. I'm actually gonna change it. Industry is just that. Build a bridge here. You can kind of see how I do bridges. So what I do is I usually get the base structure up, and then I come in here, build it off enough that it's not going to create that little mound. Just like that. So it creates a junction right there. So I can come in here, delete, delete, delete. You still have this base structure. Like that. So then you can come in here. voila, there's, I feel like, a pretty realistic bridge on the side of a railroad, although it probably wouldn't hurt that much. And voila. Okay, so let's get it into Sioux Falls. We're pretty close to the railroad here. So it's way back up and over. There we go. Sioux Falls is now connected with a decent looking road. I don't really want to do the Los Angeles or Wichita. I keep calling this Los Angeles. Although I am gonna doesn't going over the trains anymore. Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Like I said, I'm super excited to start this journey as my first YouTube video. I would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions, and kind of any direction that you would love to see. I do have a Twitter. I'm still working on the final design of it. I'm having somebody design me a logo that's going to say Bean. Bean is a nickname that I've had, and I'll go into greater detail in later episodes of that. But the name of my channel is going to be Bean 0992, but Bean for short. There will be a logo that I'll have and a thumbnail that will be coming shortly. But I do have a Twitter. It's at Bean0992. So if you want to go follow there, I'll post tweets, or I'll tweet out when I upload a video, and that way you can kind of keep up to date with it. Message me on there if you want to ask questions or comments down below. I'm excited to begin this journey with you guys, and yeah, see you in the next one of episode 2 of Transport Fever, or whatever else may fall. Have a great night, a great day. Hope your life is well.